We'll be live.
Serving shaitan with a smile. See? Look,
Oh
this
yeah.
smile right
Oh,
here.
I forgot to let you do that last time. I
it's
noticed that I was like so excited to talk, and I
We had been gone for a little bit. No, we were excited to jump back into it. We had a good video last time. You know, we always get good stuff. It's all good, man. No worries. I cried a little bit that night, but it's okay.
Oh.
You know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Oh, look at this. We have people. Oh, we have Susie here. We have I don't know who this guy is, but okay. We have we have D saying I'm awake for the stream for once, but no promises. Yeah. So yeah, guys, I know some of you this is a bad time, but we are doing this at this time. Especially for all the European subscribers who've been complaining about, about the other time that we do the news. So we're showing them some love too. Oh, Shikha is here from India, and man, not this guy, man. Oh yeah, this guy. I think you're talking about this guy. This guy? You're talking about this guy? Yeah,
could
this
be.
guy.
Yeah, it could be. That could be directed at either one of us too. Honestly, not sure, but
no, I think he's talking about this guy. That's what.
Yeah, he's rough.
Yeah.
He's rough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So guys, this is a channel. This channel is called Smile to Jannah that we're reviewing, and I think Smile to Jannah is right now based on viewership. I don't know if this is correct or not, but I think the third most popular Islamic YouTube channel. I think it should be number one based on the time and effort that he puts into his editing and the entertainment. Like I know content logic wise, it's like not much there, right? But when it comes to being entertained and the editing and the graphics and the time he puts into his jokes and stuff, I think this should be number one. You know, I don't know why Ali Dawah and Muhammad Hijab are number one and two, but if you want true Islam, you either have to go to Daniel Haqiqatjou or Sajid Lebham, and I know they don't agree, but that's like more, more Islamic, I think. And when it comes to entertainment, I think you should go to Smile to Jannah. I don't know why Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah are getting all the views. This is a better channel. But the reason why I don't do Daniel Haqiqatjou videos as much here is because his videos are long and I can't review them here, right? Unless he gives me a short video, then I will definitely do Daniel Haqiqatjou video. But see, this video is like 6 minutes only, so we could get this. We could get this done on live. Yeah.
It's not bad.
So the title, yeah. So the title of this video is Bill Maher and Jordan Peterson use Islam. I don't know why he says use Islam. That seems like a very weird title. So I changed it for us a little bit.
Yeah, especially with both of them. Like Bill Maher has not been shy about his criticism of Islam for quite a while now. So I don't exactly know how he's going to be using it in this video. Also, Jordan Peterson had all of about a week where he was like maybe kind of okay with Islam, and then just learned the very basic facts about it and was like, oh, this is terrible. So I don't know. I don't know what exactly how they're using Islam. I hope they use all of it because I don't like to be wasteful. So
well, they're not using Islam; they're attacking Islam.
That's
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what this title means. Okay, maybe it's just meant to confuse
maybe he'll
us so that we watch it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's watch it. Let's go from the beginning.
And welcome. Assalamu alaikum, guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Last year, Jordan Peterson went on an unhinged rant on Islam.
And I see this as a threat in Islam, in the more fundamentalist forms of Islam. It's like, well, you should submit to Allah. It's like, hey, fair enough. Allah as interpreted by who? Oh, totalitarian, misogynistic mullahs. How about no? I don't buy your Allah. Here's the logical conclusion.
Okay.
What an intense unhinged rant that was. Man, that was rough. Armin, are you okay? Are you good? Are you like shaking on the inside? I'm pretty broken up over that really unhinged rant.
Yeah, I'm never going to recover from this. But
it's a lot.
But what is he saying? But I like how what is this at the bottom right corner? The Israeli flag crossed over.
It appears to be anti-Semitic messaging. I don't know where it's coming from, but it appears to specifically be targeting Jewish people. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my bias, but Yeah, that's what it seems to be.
I
right
would
there.
push my. I could do a. I could push back on what you just said. As a Muslim,
Okay.
I could put in my Muslim hat on and like
Okay.
that's the Elliot. That's the flag of Israel. That's not Judaism. That's Israel. This is you. I'm
Okay.
criticizing a country, and you are calling me anti-Semitic. So
Okay.
see
Can
what
I-
they did there?
If I
Yeah.
put if that was the criticism that I was that I received from that comment, right, from a devout Muslim, I would say, why not use the whole flag then? Why purposefully only cut out the part of the flag that is very clearly the Star of David?
Oh, it
Why
is
not
the whole
actually-
flag.
No,
It
it
is. Look
isn't.
at the no, yeah, it's
Barely.
do you see
you
the blue?
and I know
Yeah.
that, Armin, because we pay attention to global politics.
Oh, okay.
But anybody
Okay.
else that watches this is not going to see the slight blue line above and below the Star of David. Why not
I mean,
use
it's
the
a
whole flag?
circle. How could I use all the flag in a circle?
You just
It's a
zoom out on
circle.
the picture.
Oh.
It's not that hard. It's the same thing I did for my little character. Everybody does it. We've all got Facebook and YouTube profiles. We all know how to zoom and crop images.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right. Well, do you know why they put this right next to Jordan Peterson? People think like, what does Jordan Peterson got to do with Israeli flag? Do you
Oh.
know what he's do you know what he has to do with it?
I don't know. That's a very good. Yeah.
There's two reasons why they put this next to Jordan Peterson. One is Jordan Peterson is make videos, I think, for The Wire. I think he's
Oh
working
yeah,
with
yeah.
them,
That's
right?
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Which is Ben Shapiro's thing, right? And he be a Jew. Right?
Is
So-
that what they're really? Wow.
That's one. Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
well, he's not just he's a Zionist Jew. So people
Sure,
are like,
right.
oh,
I
we
know
had
that,
hopes
but-
for Jordan. We had hopes for Jordan Peterson, and now he's working
And now
for
he's
a
working-
Zionist.
Wow.
So yeah,
Man.
that's one. The second reason is that Jordan Peterson, for some reason that I don't know, is very into the Abrahamic Accord deal.
Uh-huh.
I don't know
Uh-huh.
why.
Okay.
That seems way too, geopolitic key for
Mhm.
Jordan Peterson. Like he was like
Mhm.
into psychology and
Right.
into culture stuff and
Right.
into philosophy. And now all of a sudden, like this is all of a sudden he's now talking about geopolitics, like the Abrahamic
mhm.
Accord. Like I don't know. I haven't followed exactly how he got onto constantly talking about the Abrahamic Accord, but the
Yeah.
Abrahamic Accord is like the deal that is the United States is pushing for to get Gulf Arab countries close to Israel
Man.
to work with each other, right?
You know-
against Iran, against the Islamic Republic of Iran, to bring
So-
stability in the region.
So
Right.
this might be, again, I'm always happy to admit my own biases, right? And tell me if you
Right.
think this is too far on my side. I'm going to take the stance of accepting both of those two things that you just said, okay? Right? The Daily
Mhm.
Wire, working with Ben Shapiro, and then the Abrahamic Accord thing. I still don't
Daily Wire.
think I would ever post a picture of the Israeli flag in like the standard red circle no thing. Like even if
No?
I felt that way about it, I mean, is that am I just being too worried about bigotry and anti-Semitism, Armin, or is that like
Well, I will put my Muslim hat on and say, well, that's how they get you. They put a Jewish symbol in there so you can
Right.
criticize the country.
got it?
Every time you want to criticize the country, you have to
Yeah.
criticize, like, you're anti-Semitic. There's the Star of David
I wouldn't
there.
have a
Like, okay,
problem-
well,
I
maybe
wouldn't
you
have a-
should have.
I wouldn't have a problem putting a picture of, say, I don't know, the Knesset or Benjamin Netanyahu's face with a red X over it and saying like, like I don't agree with the current makeup of the Knesset right now. They're getting pretty far right in my opinion. I don't agree with
No.
Benjamin.
I want to express. What if I want to express that I think the existence of the entire country is illegal. This is other people's land. That's what I want to express. Not like this party or this prime minister. I want to express that this country should not even be there. This was the land of the Palestinians.
Okay.
You guys showed up from Europe and now took this land. That's what I want to express. Yeah.
I guess I would just say, and again,
Not my views, by the way. Not my views.
right. Yeah,
But
YouTube work. Come on, work with us here. I I guess even in that sense, I would still probably say like, hey, maybe there's a better way than like just zooming in on the Star of David part of the Israeli
Okay.
flag. You know, maybe there's a better way optics wise. But
Right.
yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think what you're saying is,
Okay.
you know, it's more fair, but it's still
Yeah.
weird, right? It's still weird to see
Right,
that
right.
at the bottom right hand corner.
By the way, I want to criticize Jordan Peterson as well, because he's like, submit to Allah, right? And he's like, why would I submit to Allah? Allah has interpreted by who?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm like, okay, you keep talking about Jesus. What about Jesus has interpreted by who? Because there's that too, right?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about
Yeah.
like, yeah, Jesus has every two person has three different interpretation about who Jesus is. So you have the same problem with Christianity, my man.
And in fact, the last
Anyway.
time Jordan Peterson talked about his interpretation of Jesus, it made him cry. So he
cried.
really feels strongly about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Oh, totalitarian, misogynist.
Why does he have to check his notes for that? I don't want to. I want to like.
Yeah.
He thought about this. He
Yeah.
thought about this and took a note. Like, okay, look at this. Look at this. Like, I'll submit to. Look at the way he rents. He thought this is so good that he had to write it down just to make sure that he gets every single word in there. Look at him.
On Islam.
And I see this as a threat in Islam, in the more fundamentalist forms of Islam. It's like, well, you should submit to Allah. It's like, hey, fair enough. Allah as interpreted by who? Oh, totalitarian, misogynistic mullahs.
That's like 3 words. You should be able to remember that.
He
Why do you
literally
have to
does.
write that?
He
Yeah.
looks over, he pauses for a second. It's clear that he stops kind of the train of thought and then goes, oh yeah, those are the words that I wrote. Which, like, of the words that you're describing Islam, right, in like a critical sense, the fact that you don't remember misogynistic and totalitarian feels like you haven't really paid much attention to Islam, you know?
Right.
Like it'd be like somebody saying, yeah, you know, one problem I have with evangelical Christian nationalists in the United States is that they're really homophobic. Yeah, that's it's like, yeah, like of course they are. That's the base level criticism, man. Like, yeah, that too, Fern. Yeah, the irony of a Christian calling anyone else misogynistic. Yeah.
I would got a super chat from Asian American saying, has he tried submitting to the name beyond names? I don't know what that means. Can you tell me what that means? I don't know.
Isn't there something about like Allah has like 100 names or something, but like one of them is like not known or something?
I think this is a
Am I wrong
cultural
on that?
reference that we.
Okay.
I think this is a cultural reference.
We just don't get it. Our westernized Abrahamic mindset. One day.
Yeah, there's
Asian.
9. Oh, is he talking about the 99 names? Is that what he's referring to? I don't get it.
That's what.
All right,
that's
let's
what I
continue.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, totalitarian, misogynistic mullahs. How about no?
Okay, do you see the pause here? This is a pause that shows like I just said something very significant. Let's all take a moment to take that.
Look
in.
at his
You know what I mean?
face. He's like
He's so
smiling
proud of-
about it. He's like
He's so
happy.
proud of what
Yeah.
he just said. Like, oh,
Yeah.
he was like, this is the smile. Like, okay, that was so badass. Okay,
I think
like
it's so
he's
good.
waiting. Yeah. Look at, and that's why the pause. He smiles. He looks at the camera and says, "How about no?" And he pauses because he feels like this was a badass moment. That this was a
Good for
mic drop
him.
moment. Look at this. Yeah.
Totalitarian, misogynistic mullahs. How about no? I don't buy your Allah. Here's the logical conclusion of that. You're your own church. You're your own God.
And not to mention, he used
That was a meme video they added in. That was not us. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I don't really understand that point that he's trying to make there, because if he's trying to say there's something radically different about Islam and how it works in terms of basically every individual Muslim out there interprets things in their own individualistic way, and so there's really no cohesion at the end of the day. Well, guess what, JP? That's Christianity. And that's Judaism. That's literally all of them. That's the whole point. Like,
I mean, what he seems to believe is not even Christianity. He's like,
no.
how about everybody? How about you be your own church? You be your own God. This
Mhm.
goes back to more than 2,000-year-old mystic belief that you are divinity itself, you are God itself, you are logos, and it goes back to ancient Greek and all of that. So this is not something new or original.
No.
But it's not Christianity. It's
No.
not Christianity. Whatever
No,
it is. Yeah.
totally. He would not
But
be able
it's
to
the-
walk into evangelical churches and stand up at the pulpit and preach that message. Yeah, nobody
No,
would be
no.
listening.
But it's something Islam is very sensitive about. You like, you are your own God. Like, that's why they had that meme video right after, because that's the most un-Islamic, anti-Islamic thing you can say.
Even I know
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, even I
you
know that.
yeah.
Like, come on.
I mean, you shouldn't say even I anymore. You're like,
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
semi-
point. But it's shirk.
Yeah,
It's
you're-
straight shirk. I mean, you're
Yes,
straight
I
putting
mean-
partners with God. Come on.
Yeah, you're an expert in Islamic studies now, Elliot. Like,
I'll
you should
take
take credit for that.
I'm gonna clip that and like put it on my fridge or something.
You're gonna put the clip on the fridge? Or you can do
Yeah, I
that?
don't know. I'll
Okay.
figure something out. Like just tape an iPad to it. I don't know. Just shut up.
I don't- Okay. All right.
church, you're your own God.
And not to mention, he used his influence over the Muslims to forward Zionist propaganda like the Abraham Accords.
Terrorism hasn't really been in the headlines, and
Yeah, well, the Abraham Accords were a big step forward,
Yes,
too, man. They were a
yes.
big step forward.
For those
Oh my God. He's like, terrorism hasn't been in the news for a while, and Jordan Peterson. This is why you can't get Jordan Peterson to talk about geopolitics.
Mm-hmm.
He's acting like, oh, it was the Abrahamic Accords that fixed terrorism. We're saying that word too much for YouTube's algorithm. Guys, please like the stream. These are
Seriously.
naughty words. YouTube
Mhm,
doesn't like
mhm.
these naughty words that we're using. Okay, YouTube spanks us when we use naughty words. So you guys make sure to finger us instead, so that the channel goes up. Okay, with the like button. Okay, I don't know. That I made it worse. I think I made it worse. Yeah, with all
What,
the
with the-
fingering and spanking and the naughty word. Yeah.
I mean, you might
use
have,
the
but,
like.
Yeah,
It's okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, guys, the Abrahamic Accords is not why terrorism has
right?
gone on the decline like for a while.
I thought
it's supposed to.
I thought I was a little bit like wrong on the time frame, So I just looked it up, and we're talking like, according to the U.S. Department of State website, like this was ratified in like September of 2020. So
And it's been and terrorism has dropped
for
I
decades.
mean, in Western countries, like, just to be
Correct.
clear.
So that's what I was
Yes.
that was gonna be the point that I made, which is, hey man, super weird that you say all this terrorism is going down, except for like, I don't know,
No.
Pakistan and Malaysia and
Afghanistan.
Nigeria and
Afghanistan.
Sudan, Afghanistan, like Saudi
Right, yeah.
Arabia, Yemen, like weird how
Iraq.
it's going.
Iraq. Yeah.
Weird how it's going down in all these. Oh, wait a second. It's only really going down in the places where it's basically a bunch of white people. Yeah, okay.
Right.
okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
D is
weird.
here,
Hmm.
so I should mention. You're right. I'm glad you mentioned some. Like, I should not disappoint D in the live chat
Mhm.
because she pays attention. Yeah, like
Yeah, go tell Nigeria that they've been
Niger-
doing
yeah,
just
Sudan.
fine. Go tell
Yeah,
go
yeah.
tell Kenya, go tell Sudan,
Oh.
like absolutely. Go tell
Kenya.
Ethiopia, like seriously, Morocco,
yeah, there you go.
Algeria. Go
Yes.
tell these
Niger.
countries that, yeah, right. They just had a freaking coup. Like, I mean, yeah,
Yes.
go tell these places that they've gotten less. But like, yeah, also
Somalia. Yeah.
Somalia.
Look it
Yeah. Thank you. Like
thank you.
go tell those places first off, and second off,
Yeah.
like you're telling me that the 20-year pattern that we've seen, the 20-year pattern, Armin, is because of this thing we signed at the end of 2020. That seems really stupid, Jordan Peterson. That seems dumb. Okay, like
Right.
very, very misguided. So
Yeah. But I can't emphasize this point more. This is very important, because what Elliot is pointing out here is that when people say terrorism has dropped, they're talking about a very Western-centric perspective that dismisses the rest of the planet, right?
Yeah.
So apparently for people in the United States, some of them, if there is less terrorism in the United States, that means there's just less terrorism.
Worldwide.
As
Yeah.
if that's
Yeah.
like
That's how it
just-
works,
yeah.
Armin. I'm pretty sure.
If Americans are not experiencing it, that means it's less. Or European, like Americans actually do care about other, like about their fellow Europeans
if the
and Australians.
Americans and the Europeans aren't experiencing it, you're basically talking
Then-
about a conspiracy theory at that point. It's like, no, it can't possibly be happening. Nobody in America
it's
feels that way.
Yeah. But the reason why it's less in North America, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and these other places that they care about, is not because Abrahamic Accords, like that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
It has been dropping significantly for a while. And if I had to guess what that reason is without going out and checking, this is just a guess, okay? I would say it's the defeat of ISIS. It's been really a bummer for their branding, right? That's why Africa is now experiencing a lot of their crap, because it's cheaper to do what they do there, because it's like there's a lot of countries that are harder. It's difficult for like, Niger, for example, that has a coup right now. It's ISIS loves that because failed states and all is just what ISIS is still doing what it's doing. It's just not doing it. It's just not doing it in the Middle East anymore. It's mostly going to, it's still in the Middle East, but mostly like in Africa, because it's just like such an easy place to, So the branding, it hasn't been good for Al Qaeda. Like Bin Laden was taken down, and their next leader and the next leader, and ISIS has been defeated. It's hard to recruit. It's hard to get recruiting going on with all these. It's humiliating to be defeated so much. So I think that has something to do with the drop. And also there hasn't been something that United States does that angers Muslims worldwide as much as, like, I don't know, the invasion of Iraq or like something like that. You need something that it's been a while for US to do something that you could be like, oh, great evil US, we need to take revenge. You know what I mean? So and that has something to do with that. Yeah.
I would just add on, because you're normally the one that points this out, and I just think it's a good point. One of the things that we've really seen over the last 20 years globally that is going to put this on a downward slope is the continued increase in economic connectivity between all of these countries. There has been a massive focus over the last 2 decades, okay, for a lot of these countries that for generations were not anywhere close to the economics, states that we had in Western Europe, in North America, right? And so that is massive. The fact that they are getting more and more involved with each other, other countries, other cultures, more diverse political views and so forth, like that is also putting a damper on all that, because funny enough, what people realize is that when they live in a state of constant religious warfare, they do worse. They do worse in just everything, because you don't have time to be safe and secure. You don't have time to save money for retirement. You don't get a better life, all that stuff. So yeah, it's like it has absolutely nothing to do with what Jordan Peterson is talking about. That's the main point.
It can in the future, I don't know, but so far it hasn't.
Yeah. 20 years from now, he might retroactively be correct.
To your point, maybe if the Abrahamic Accords brings like more economic trade between these countries, and it might reduce terrorist attacks in the Middle East itself as well. But it's too recent for you to take credit for the drop right now. That's the point. Yeah. Absolutely. So we got a super chat from Gasian American saying, why hasn't ISIS rallied against PRC? Well, because they don't have any motivation. It's not an evil that has been defined in the hearts and minds of many radicals that you could be like, oh, down with the PRC. Well, that's one. And also two, how would they do that?
Right.
Like-
That's what I was gonna say. Like logistically
Right.
speaking, what would they do?
Yeah,
Just like
yeah, like-
post a bunch of Winnie
Yeah.
the Pooh memes. Like, I mean, it.
I mean, they can't go. Like, you know, they're not. They don't kid around. Like, it's not like they have bases in the Middle East or stuff, right? I
Right.
mean, not as much, right?
Right.
They don't have military. Like, what are you going to attack? If you want to attack them, you have to go all the way exactly where they could just wipe you out, like immediately. You wouldn't even to say you wouldn't even be able to finish your Allah Akbar before you notice that you're a martyr, right? Like. Yeah, so yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, that would be a losing battle. That's the reason. Yeah.
I think they see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it might happen. Okay, so here's the thing. As China becomes more involved in the Middle East and Africa, as they're doing, right? And it you know, it might get to a point where they are seen like the US as foreign intervention and stuff,
Oh yeah.
and they will have bases there. I mean, we saw Taliban. No, wait a minute. We saw ISIS attack on some Chinese people in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
We did see that. Yeah,
Sure.
but so we did
I
see
think-
that. So,
I think what we're gonna. I think because your point about China getting more involved with a lot of countries, especially in Africa, especially a handful of African nations and stuff. I think that is a 10 to 15 year backfire for the Chinese government. I think they are going to stretch themselves pretty thin with all of these construction projects, and then there is going to be some defaulting, but I also think there's going to be some of the Chinese government saying we want to do more, and the country saying nah, back out. So yeah, that'll be the Belt and Road Initiative is really weird. So
yeah, I think in Afghanistan you will see more attacks than China. Okay, because the Taliban would like for China to come in because they have no one else, right? To come build their stuff for them, right? Like roads and mining and stuff. And ISIS, who is anti-Taliban, the best way to discourage China to be more active in Afghanistan, which will help Taliban, is to just target Chinese people and Chinese contractors and stuff in Afghanistan. So that's why Chinese people would be a target for ISIS in Afghanistan. That's what I think. So we'll see. All right, let's continue.
Those of you that don't know, the Abraham Accords are the legalization of the murderous behavior of Israel.
No, that is not an accurate description. That is not
a little misleading, Armin. A little misleading,
Maybe.
Yeah.
What is with this narrativization? Like, maybe describe what we're talking about before you give your judgment on what this leads to. You know, like if you are trying to introduce to your audience what the Abrahamic Accords are, maybe don't define it with your judgment. That's not how you. Yeah.
Okay, but counterpoint. Okay, so I hear where you're coming from. Okay, counterpoint. What if you don't actually care about your audience being well informed and you just want to rile them up against a cause? Right? Because then he's killing it. I mean, he's doing great.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
If you don't actually want your audience to know.
Yes, I judged him too fast. Yeah.
Shame on you.
Oh, somebody loves me.
Hey.
Thank you. Don't worry, Elliot. I love you. Okay, I know they're not giving to that.
Showing other nations.
So guy, Abrahamic Accord is not like. Wait, what did he? How did he describe it?
He said something about the legalization. Yeah, go ahead, play it again. It's great.
Of those of you that don't know, the Abraham Accords are the legalization of the murderous behavior of Israel by showing.
Right. So the United States going and like, hey, maybe stop attacking each other. Okay, maybe and so that means that they're telling Israel, oh yeah, go murder innocent people. We're okay with that. These two have nothing to do with each other. This is like a normalization of relationships between countries. Is not a defense of any human rights violations by any of these countries.
Yeah.
I mean, why is go on?
Well, it's just, again, this is one of those moments, Armin, where it's like you and me here live in 30 seconds. We hate to just radically debunk stupid things that people say that are just total BS lies. But
Right.
funny enough, oh, wow, here it is. Here's the entire Abraham Accords. It's all of 8 paragraphs. Let's see here. Recognize the importance of maintaining and strengthening peace in the Middle East. Okay, that's not it. Oh, maybe this is it. And around the world based on mutual understanding and coexistence, including religious freedom. No, that can't be what he's talking about. Oh, here it is.
No.
It's the part where it says we seek tolerance and respect for every person in order to make the world a place where all can enjoy a life of dignity and hope, no matter their race, faith, or ethnicity.
That's
Is
it.
that was that
No.
it? No, that
I
didn't.
think
Yeah,
so.
that didn't seem
No?
right
No,
either.
yeah. Never mind.
Gosh, that's so weird. You literally can't find anything close to what Smile to Jannah just said in this very, very short document. Super weird there. Again, he wouldn't be just flat out lying, right? Like, that'd be so.
Well, okay. So here's let me steelman his positions. Let me steelman his position. So he's arguing, okay, that Muslim countries need to be enemies of Israel. Okay.
Okay.
And the Abrahamic Accords is pushing these Muslim countries to not be enemies of Israel, to not attack Israel, to not take hostile positions against Israel. And he says this lack of hostility as an acceptance of the human rights violations that Israel has done. He's like, you are basically saying, putting a stamp of approval on every human rights violations that Israel has done by not being hostile to them.
Okay.
Which is weird, because by that argument, that's the argument that United States makes in being hostile towards some Islamic countries.
Ooh.
So if you're saying that human rights violations in certain countries is a good excuse for hostility against them, then you have just justified, I don't know, the Iraq war, right? The Afghanistan war, like all of them.
Wow.
Wouldn't it? I mean, these
Yeah.
are the same people that say, like, hey, mind your own business. Stop intervening in other countries.
That's a really
Like,
good
don't
point,
put your human rights stuff, don't push it on other people. Well, okay, that's what the Abrahamic Accord is doing. Like, yeah, they have some bad things. Like, if Saudi Arabia is not being hostile, for example, to Israel, that does not necessarily mean like, oh yeah, we think them killing innocent people is a-okay and legal. That's not what it means. It like that's not the same thing. Just because I'm agreeing not to attack a country for stability in the region is not an approval of everything they're doing. Because by that, it's weird to me that he's not also thinking about the other way around. How come you're not saying like, oh, why is Saudi Arabia has human rights violations as well? Smile to Jannah. So should other countries not have normalized their relationship with Saudi Arabia? Like, would you agree with that? Like, what if so? Because these are the same people who, when people attack Saudi Arabia's human rights violation, they get butthurt over that. They're like, oh, you guys, you foreigners are now attacking another Islamic country. How about you mind your own business? But they don't have the same standard when it comes to Israel. So should we mind our own business? Or should we get involved? Like, should we intervene? Because lack of involvement is, like, stepping back is the Abrahamic Accords. Like, you guys have a normal trade relationships with each other. You can still call it, condemn it. You can still be like, yeah, we don't like that. But stop fighting in the Middle East so that we could have some peace and trade here. Yeah.
So that's my question, Armin. I don't know. Maybe this is strange. Maybe this will take you a really long time to answer, but is it possible? Without being contradictory, okay? Is it possible to both say, like, I support Israel's right to exist as a country, and I also think that the human rights violations they've done are atrocious, and I wish they would stop?
No,
it's not. No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't say that.
You can't do that. No.
Dang it.
No.
Okay, well, Smile to Jannah got us
Yeah.
there, I guess. He's
Yes.
I
yes.
was gonna say he's right, but
In
then, like, I
fact,
started to
in fact, the acknowledgement of human rights violations of any country automatically means that you wish that country does not exist.
Well, then that's like every country in the countries. What the hell, man? Like, oh well, we tried this whole map of the world thing for a while. I guess we'll just end that after 400 or 500 years.
Right. It was a good try. Like the whole concept of a nation
Well,
state, I think,
yep.
like we
had
tried
a
it
good
out,
run.
guys. Like
Yep.
we didn't know countries commit human rights violations.
it.
We thought that
Dang.
we
Hey,
thought
hey,
the concept of a nation state will just put a stop to all
even
of
like
it. Yeah. Go.
hey, even like Sweden and France, and have they done the human rights?
Oh no, not France.
Not France,
Not
right?
France.
Couldn't
Not
have been.
France.
Yeah.
Human rights violations in France? No, never. No. Like, yeah.
Freaking ridiculous.
I'm sure.
Showing other nations that if you the murderous behavior of Israel,
Oh wait, I like to hear that.
the legalization of the murderous behavior of Israel by showing other nations that if you just hold on long enough, if you have enough allies, if you're good at playing the media games, then you can get away with murder. And the fact that this guy
Is that what the
Yeah.
Abraham Accord says at all? Does it say anything like that?
So they're saying that Israel has committed a lot of human rights violations, and if you just have enough allies like Israel does, right,
Mhm.
then you could get away with it, okay?
Hmm.
Because there will be no consequences to what you're doing.
Hmm.
To be fair, Israel has paid consequences for. Yeah, it's not enough. I agree. Okay?
Yeah, I'm with you. With
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Right?
but
Um,
there's a huge section
But-
in the United States of politicians who are actively against the support that the United
Right.
States government has given to this to the Israeli government.
I mean,
Like,
no, that support. That support is fine because they would literally walk. I can't say what they would do on YouTube. Like if that support was not there, that would be genocide. Okay.
oh yeah.
So- yeah.
Well, but there is also a decent sized minority of politicians in the U.S. on both sides that are against
Right.
the government of Israel, not the state of Israel existing, but the current makeup of the government. So it's not like Israel
Right.
doesn't face consequences politically. I agree, though. Absolutely, there should be some more for some various actions.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
totally. But that's true for
I
the
would
U.S.
suggest. Yeah, what I would say is like what I push for is full support for Israel, but not supporting certain parties. You know what I mean?
mhm, yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to do that because there's no alternatives and stuff, and you still need to support
Yeah.
Israel. But this is not an Israeli. This is a problem that is not unique to Israel. Like you want stability, you are trying to. You have to push for stability in different regions.
Mhm.
Sometimes the people in charge are not the best. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no alternative. And you don't want to reward them for being such crappy governments to their people. But at the same time, they're the only people who are
Right.
keeping everything in order. Right?
There's
I mean,
no other
again,
option.
I will speak in a language that Small to Jannah understands, okay?
Mhm.
Saddam was not a cool dude, for example, right?
No.
But I'm pretty sure Small to Jannah agrees with that. But removing him was a bad idea. It brought instability in the region, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that he's like doing human rights violations stuff, but again, you cannot be hostile to every government just
Mhm.
because they're crappy. Like it's
Right.
it's just like it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. I mean, another example that Small to Jannah would not use because it's an Islamic country is criticizing the Saudis, right?
Mm.
Like because every time we criticize the Saudis, like even though they don't like the Saudis, they don't like the House of Saud, right?
Right.
But they see it, they translate it as all people criticizing Muslims and
Just
stuff, and they don't
attacking
wanna add
Muslims,
to it.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, but Saudi Arabia has also learned, like, hey, remember Biden coming into office of like, Saudi Arabia bad, evil, Khashoggi, they murdered Khashoggi, and we're gonna make them pay. And then what happened?
They literally
after,
just
like,
waited. They just waited a year or so, and then
Saudi Arabia waited
yep.
it out, and then like, you
Yep.
guys need my oil, don't you? Like, especially after the
Yeah.
Ukraine war, they were
Yep.
like,
literally.
yeah, like Biden literally had to go fly to Saudi Arabia.
He
to
fist
shake.
bumped. He like fist bumped
Yeah, he fist
Mohammed
bumped.
bin Hal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Like,
called
come
them a like criminal and stuff, and we were like, we need
Yeah.
your oil, I guess. So
Yeah.
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 So it's not
It's
just
frustrating,
Israel, okay?
but it's literally
that's
the name of the game. That's what geopolitics is. Like, it's not great,
Yeah.
but that's the whole point. Is you
That's
have
it.
to take these difficult situations and try to make the best of them. But
Right.
yeah, and his framing of
Yeah.
the Abraham.
Oh, and
Go ahead.
yeah, go on. You go ahead. No, you go ahead. I have
was
another
just saying,
point.
his framing is just absolute garbage. It's just terrible. You can go read it in about 2 minutes, y'all. It's very easy to disprove. So
Do that, but here's another thing. Do you know what Abrahamic Accords, like, what is the U.S. is trying to do? The main point of the Abrahamic Accords is for the U.S. to leave the Middle East.
no.
So it's small to Jannah. You want, like, you want that? Like, what do you guys want? Like, what do you guys want? You guys like, oh, why are you here? You should leave the Middle East. Or like, okay, well, if we leave it like this, is everybody's gonna like screw everyone else? Like, can we get you guys to behave before we leave so we can leave? This is an attempt to leave. You got, which is what you guys want. This is a United States attempt to maybe like you guys, well, not you guys because he's from Pakistan, not the Middle East, but from your Muslim brothers and sisters in the Middle East to behave so that, like, can you guys not shoot each other for 5 seconds? Like, that's basically what's happening here. Again, not all Muslims. I'm talking about specifically the ones that are shooting each other, just like not generalized.
But it sounds like what you're saying is the best way to achieve Smile to Jannah's goal of getting the United States military out of the Middle East is with a strong, peaceful, secured state of Israel. Is that what you're saying? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So, you heard it, Smile to Jannah. Come talk to us. We'll explain global politics to you. We got this.
Maybe if you weren't being so threatening to U.S. and U.S. ally, United States wouldn't have to be there all the time. Maybe that's how it works. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's how it works, but there are like technically international agreements that have been signed for a while. So like maybe you're right. Yeah. Maybe you're correct. Yeah.
Has got the nerve to say that it's a success, shows truly what side he's really batting on. And as for the grandpa, since when did the criteria for terrorism become what comes on in the headlines? I mean, what really is in that thing that you're smoking, mate? Have you not heard of Palestine?
I mean, it's not just the headlines.
Yeah, but
Go.
come on. Like, that's so stupid. Like, that's such a stupid thing to harp on, Smile to Jannah. Like, if you have any understanding of what's happening right now, this is Bill Maher's shtick. Okay? He's been a comedian his entire freaking life. He has the ability now to get very high prominent individuals in the public facing sphere to come sit down with him as he gets really freaking drunk and stoned. Okay? This is not confusing. Nobody out there is like, oh my gosh, Bill Maher didn't say the exact right words there. Like, yeah, man, I get what you're saying, which is like, hey, there actually is still a lot of this stuff going on around the world. Armin and I said that, but we're not going to harp on the fact that Bill Maher said, well, it kind of seems like a lot of the major headlines don't talk about terrorism anymore, because that's correct. That is correct, that it has gone down in a statistically noticeable way. But, you know, of course he's not.
I think his main problem.
Go ahead.
I think his main problem is that he's judging by the headlines that terrorism is mostly Islamic.
Okay, maybe. Maybe
Let me
I would just
like-
argue that there are stats that do seem to back that number.
Yeah. I
being
mean,
frustrated about what the headlines say, man. But when we have 30 years,
Yeah,
40
yeah.
years worth of data, it's like, yeah, I mean, there is. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
granted, we don't talk about a lot of the white nationalism in the United States that also should be
Right.
included in this. But I still think when you cut the numbers worldwide, unfortunately, Islamic
Right.
extremism is the one that comes
That-
out. Like, I'm
That's
sorry.
another thing that frustrates me, because a lot of Americans tell you, well, actually, most terrorist activities are not Islamic. Like
That's just not
in the
true.
U.S.
Yeah, in the
In
US.
the
yeah.
U.S. Like, you are, again, that's a very US centric.
Right.
You know how I know you have a very US centric perspective? The fact that you didn't feel the need to finish that sentence with "in the US" at the end, because maybe in the you're in the US, you're right, but worldwide, that is not the case. Worldwide,
Are there still other countries outside of the United States, Armin? Are there other countries
know,
in
I
the
have to
world?
check. I have to check.
My
I
map
have
is
to
just
check. I'll
one
get-
really big United States with like an Alaska and Hawaii somewhere off in the ocean.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
Appreciate it.
Side he's really batting on. And as for the grandpa, since when did the criteria for terrorism become what comes on in the headlines? I mean, what really is in that thing that you're smoking, mate? Have you not heard of Palestine, Syria,
So I think he's saying Palestine, Syria, what else?
Kashmir? Oh,
So I think these are countries that he's giving an example where a non-Islamic or secular force is killing Muslims, right? So Palestine is talking Israeli killing Palestinians. Kashmir is talking about Hindus killing Muslims. And then Syria, I think he's talking about like either a Shia government killing Sunnis because he's Sunni, or secular government killing Muslims. I don't know how he would frame it, because that would be more secular.
smoking, mate. Have you not
Yeah.
heard of Palestine, Syria, Kashmir? Oh, but wait, that falls under state terrorism, which is not according to your definition, mate. How?
So they're saying like his argument is that most of the killings that we call Islamic terrorism is way, way, way less killing than states kill, the number of people that are killed by states, which is actually true. Okay. But
Agreed.
that's not the definition of terrorism. They don't
That's
call
what I
that
was going to
terrorism.
argue. That's what I was going
Right.
to say. That's specifically going against what has been the standard definition for this word for a very long
Right.
time. And we have other words and phrases that help us expand this concept. Like, for instance, state-sponsored terrorism, right? But like kind of inherent in the definition of terrorism is that it can't be from the legitimate government. Right. That's kind of the whole point. So
they think they were doing that on purpose to make Muslims look worse.
Oh no.
But like no, but it's like no, it's just like it's when we say something is not terrorism, it's not in defense of it. People think it's in defense of it. It's just not how that word is used. Something could be worse than terrorism and still not terrorism. Like something could be genocide and not terrorism.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's World War II, right? Like you wouldn't call what the Yazidis did as terrorism. You would call it genocide. You wouldn't say it was state-sponsored terrorism. You would say it's genocide. It's them actively taking over the world and killing people, right? So it's like yeah, it's just not the word.
And we do that. You don't do that even like if this was a bias against Muslims, then they wouldn't. Then why don't they call it terrorism when an Islamic State also kills a whole bunch of people?
Oh yeah, you'd have to include all of what Saudi Arabia is doing in Yemen.
Yeah, well, like with Saudi Arabia is killing a whole bunch of Muslims in Yemen. They don't call it an act of terror because it's a state. Because it's a state, so that's how it works. Like,
and this is not the first time Smile to Jannah has had difficulty with just basic definitions of words. This is not the first time that this has been a problem. But also, this isn't that important, but I did just want to triple check because it sounded like he was calling Bill Maher a grandpa there. You know that Bill Maher and Jordan Peterson are 6 years apart in age. They're not even a full decade. So like,
I don't know which one of them is calling a grandpa.
I think he was calling Bill Maher grandpa, which like fine, they're
Right.
both over 60, but they're only 6 years apart. I just thought that was weird. Like okay.
You know the LA the LA attack that happened. You know that guy on the rooftop that was. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't forget that. Yeah. So that guy was white, right? And they didn't call that terrorism. And a whole bunch of Muslims were like, "Oh my God, why are you not calling this? He's white. It's because he's white, right?" Well, like they didn't know the motivation. I don't think they ever figured out the motivation.
Yeah, I think you're
Like,
correct.
you have.
I will say. No,
Yeah, I mean, you have to know the motivation to be able to call it like an act of terror. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't because he was white. It's because we don't know why he did that. Like, he had to be political or religious or something.
yeah.
You know.
Well, and I think, and this is so first off, I do think it's worth pointing this out, which is in the United States for sure. That's the one I can say for sure. I think it also extends to other Western countries as well, Western European countries as well. They're not as quick to name their own citizens, right? As individuals in this. I agree with that, and I think that's worth pointing out. But it is also important that, again, specifically, this context is one where the individual pre-plans before the action, right? Pre-plans for this action to specifically cause instability, right? One that they can take advantage of in various ways, right? And not even necessarily them as an individual, but potentially even their ideology or their movement or whatever. And so, for instance, if what we have, which I'm not saying this is, analogous to the incident you were talking about, but if, for instance, what we have is an individual at a shopping mall on a Friday night who gets drunk, pulls out a handgun because they get pissed off and starts firing it off at people, that's just a mass shooting. It's not necessarily terrorism because that whole aspect of premeditated, right? That's kind of, again, it's kind of inherent in the definition.
But it has to have a political or religious motivation as well.
That's right. Because again, you're specifically trying to attack the citizens in a way to get across a point, but doing so in a manner that is specifically to make them fearful. And again,
what? I think you're wrong. I think this is all just about making Muslims look bad. Like that's, I think that's the standard. If it's Muslim, it's terrorism. If it's not, it's if it's anybody else, it's like fine. It's not only it's not terrorism, it's actually okay. It's fine.
Signed an international agreement according to Smile to Jannah.
Right, like we actually legalize it. We legalize it when non-Muslims like murder. It's rewarded. Even they get medals for it.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right.
Yeah.
Dishonest and unacademic.
By the way, YouTube, I'm not saying we're not endorsing this, but we're making. Oh my God, YouTube! What did I just say? YouTube, like we're making fun of how ridiculous and stupid these comments are. We're obviously not for any of this. I hope your AIs can tell satire.
At this point, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's like we've been so vocal about what our beliefs actually are that come on, YouTube.
Yes. I mean, with AI now, AI should be able to tell satire from non-satire. We got a super chat. Gaging American saying terrorism is just legal workaround for legal versus illegal violence. Manifest destiny legal, caliphate illegal.
So Manifest Destiny wasn't exactly legal. I think that's important to point out, right? And Manifest Destiny also was, because Manifest Destiny is generally used, not entirely, but generally used in global politics to talk about the 13 colonies in the United States that then started expanding across the whole continent, right? Just wiping out, genociding people and animals in the process. Like, but it wasn't that was more of a mindset than it was like a policy. That's important. It also wasn't like a cohesive movement in the sense of like Islam or the Democrats or whatever. But go ahead.
Legal. That it doesn't even make sense to call it. It was bad. Like
Yeah,
legal,
and it wasn't
within what framework?
Yeah, and
I
it
mean,
wasn't
the caliphates
legal.
were legal.
Yeah, right. Like you could argue that Manifest Destiny wasn't legal, and you could argue that the caliphates were legal because the caliphates were set up under Islamic
Which
law.
caliphate? I think.
Well, yeah,
if
that's
you're
a good
talking,
question too.
Yeah, if you're talking about modern day attempts as the caliphate, like ISIS, well, that's illegal.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about caliphate, like the Abbasid caliphate, the Umayyad caliphate, like the
then again,
Ottoman caliphate, they were legal because they made the laws.
Right. And again, we've got federal court cases where the Supreme Court just outright said, what you're doing is illegal, right? Like you are violating the Constitution of the United States. And we have a very famous moment where Andrew Jackson literally says to the Supreme Court, make me. And then that's how we kicked out a bunch of Native Americans from the East. So it's like,
wow,
it wasn't exactly, legal. I don't think is exactly the case, but
I mean, the Abbasid Caliphate was not illegal because they wrote the laws.
Right. They were fully in line with everything that they said was legal. So
they were the law.
Demic and prattish of you, frankly.
Yeah, I'm going to the United Arab Emirates.
UAE.
You bet. Turns out I have a lot of Muslim followers.
Great.
Quite honestly, I don't see why a Muslim would pay for a ticket to watch this guy live. I just don't understand it based on what.
I agree with that, Smile, but I don't know that you're saying anything, particularly there. You're just you're just basically saying, Jordan Peterson isn't that great of a speaker and personality. And it's like, you're correct. Like spot on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But why are you making it a Muslim thing?
Why is it a Muslim thing? Right. Nobody should be buying tickets to Jordan Peterson.
Pay for a ticket.
Yes. Like, why would
followers?
Great.
Quite honestly, I don't see why a Muslim would pay for a ticket to watch this guy live. I just don't understand it based on what this guy has done. I can see the contributions that he makes in psychology and seeing a clip here and there. Fair enough. But paying and contributing to this guy, mate.
Do you believe in God? What do you mean do? What do you mean you? What do you mean believe? And what do you mean God?
Why didn't
I'm glad he used that clip though, because that is like one of my favorite clips of Jordan Peterson. Because it's like that thing where it's like tell me you don't know what you're talking about without telling me you don't know what you're talking about. That type of stuff. Or like how to look like a complete jackass to all your friends in 10 seconds or less. Like Jordan Peterson right there. It's just
okay. So the same. So what do you mean by you? Okay. So Jordan, let's just be clear. Jordan Peterson thinks that the definition of the word you is unclear and ambiguous. Okay. And it's that it's a spectrum. It could be different things.
Could be anything.
Could be anything. However, the word man or the word woman, apparently those are extremely clear and not flexible at all, and not a spectrum or anything. So, because if you don't understand the definition of do, you, or believe, and God, to me, sounds like you're suggesting that language is something that is flexible, that words could have different meanings, that we could change the definition of words, that there's no hard rule of a word, like for a word to specifically mean a one thing.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now
here's there are two words that apparently don't fit that criteria. There's the word man and woman. These are like hard-coded within the fabric of the universe. There's no wiggle room around these things, and it's like somehow tied to your chromosomes. Yeah,
it It makes complete sense to me. And you know what?
Right.
You know what would make this, you know what would make your point even better, Armin? Because that's a great point.
Right.
I mean, again, it sounds like Jordan Peterson is being like really self-contradictory, maybe even like outright hypocritical and stupid. You know, I wouldn't make that claim. I'm
Right.
saying it's
No,
possible.
no,
Right.
of
But
cour-
here's the
no.
thing. Okay. So here's the thing.
Right.
This would be crazy, right? I don't know if we can find this, but if, for instance, we could find, say, like dozens of clips of Jordan Peterson railing against the like postmodernist people who just like
Oh, no.
willy-nilly change the
Yes.
definition of the basic words that we all understand, like, do you believe in God? Like that would be terrible, because then he would just completely look like a hypocritical idiot, right? Like there's not clips of
Right.
him saying stuff like that, is there? Because that would make him look really bad, right? That's not out there.
I
hope
would
not.
say Jordan Peterson is the postmodernist who hates postmodernism, but he is so postmodernist that what does it even mean to be a postmodernist? So is he a postmodernist? Right? So I think it's the most postmodernist thing to do, to hate on postmodernism and
He's-
do everything that they do at the same time. I think that's peak postmodernism.
It is. If you want to talk about a top G, I mean, that's a top G.
Right. Yeah.
Armin, actually, what Peterson wants to do is get postmodernism like more widespread. So what he does as a pure postmodernist is he criticizes postmodernism. Yes, you are
Right.
getting confused, top G, because your framework for reality is just not grounded, you know, in the
Right.
ontologically axiomatical fundamental understanding that Jordan Peterson, freaking idiot.
Oh wow,
Frick.
those were words. Those were
You put-
words.
Put them all together in one sentence. You sound really smart.
Right. Yeah, those are words. I'm not sure if they were sentence. This. I like this postmodern inception. Did I read that right? Yeah.
Postmodern
I can't read
yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's you did that.
Oh my god, ridiculous.
But by the way, I love how Jordan Peterson is terrified of this question more than any other question.
Mhm.
Like you ask Jordan Peterson questions, and he will answer you.
Yeah.
Get to, do you believe in God? And he will dance around that question like no other.
I
Like
know,
he
it's so weird.
refuses.
It's so
Yeah,
weird.
he's-
Just say like, just
Yeah.
honestly say like kind of, or not really. Like it's not
Yeah.
that big of a deal.
Or
But, like,
I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
just,
I don't know.
It's
It's
like- I-
I
That's a
honestly
good
don't know if
question.
I
That's a
believe.
good
Yeah,
answer.
I might
Yeah.
not. Here's my understanding. But yeah.
Right. I think, you know, this is maybe my guess is that he wants to have both the atheist and the religious audience.
No.
I don't know.
Are you
maybe
saying? Are you saying he's
That's-
kind of playing
that's
up his views to both sides so that he can garner?
not on
more followers?
purpose. Not on
Okay,
purpose.
okay,
I
okay,
do
okay.
not on purpose. I do think like sometimes content creators, in the back of their mind, they're thinking like, I need to keep my audience, but I need to convince myself that I'm doing this for other reasons so I could sleep at night. You know what I mean? So you kind of go through the process of like, yeah, I am doing the right thing, but the actual thing, I don't know. This is my guess. That
Kinda
you
like-
justify.
Kind of
Yeah.
like how super hardcore religious people justify
Right.
the hatred and violence in their religion
Right.
as being
Yeah.
moral. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
No, I can see
Yes,
that.
yeah,
Again,
yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
we're not saying Jordan Peterson is doing that. We're
No,
just
we're not.
speculating and questioning.
speculating.
That's all.
Right.
That's all, folks.
Yes. I'm glad that they put the name here at the bottom left because
Just
I
in
would
case.
have no idea.
I would
Yeah.
know this guy.
I would
Yeah.
have.
mean you? What do you mean believe?
Look at you see the Daily Wire logo at the bottom right as well. You will never get tired of this. Right? This is the perfect. Well, yeah,
Do?
To this guy, mate,
Do you believe in God? What do you mean do? What do you mean you? What do you mean believe? And what do you mean God?
Why didn't
Well, at
He
least he
should
knows
have
what in
continued.
means. At least he understands
Right.
what the word
Yes,
in
you're
means.
right.
That's great.
He
That's
didn't
so
question
awesome.
in.
Doesn't have a problem with
Right.
prepositions. It's all the other
Right.
words that he's
Right. So in apparently is very clear. We all understand what in
Got it.
means. Yes, yes.
got that one.
I think you should have continued. Like, who am I? Where are we?
What do you mean by Jordan? What do you mean by Peterson? What do you mean
And
by
then
respond? What do you mean by interview?
Right. And then it like continued, like, what? Like, just what? Who? Why? And then like not even ask that, just look at you with like a question mark.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah, just raise an eyebrow like,
yeah. Oh, we got a super chat from Gage in America. Gage in American, thank you so much for the support. Saying, do I believe in God? RNH Sky Zazie fanfic? No. A nameless entity. A nameless eternity. Yes. Again, I don't know what that means, guys. Try to crack the code of what Gage in American is trying to tell us here.
what do you mean by
But
nameless? What do you mean by
Nameless, yeah.
eternity? What do you mean by
Right.
yes? Again, how to
Okay.
how to completely lose all of your friends in less than 10
Right.
seconds. That clip of Jordan Peterson. Like, hey, Armin, do you want to go grab some Italian for dinner? What do you mean by Italian? What do you mean by dinner?
Yeah, no, people should start doing that to Jordan Peterson. If they say like hi, you should be like, what do you mean by hi? What do you mean by hi? What does hi mean? Like do that. Like
That would be so great. I hope somebody
Yeah.
watches
Right,
this,
right.
sees that, and puts up a TikTok because I would
Right.
laugh
Yeah.
so hard.
Didn't he say the same thing when it came to his sponsored trip to the UAE? What do you mean $50,000? What do you mean you'd fly me first class? What do you mean rich Arabs? Nah, mate, he understood that really well. And that's the thing when it comes
Not the best. I see what you're going with there. I mean, I think there were better jokes to be made here, but okay,
I agree.
okay,
I agree.
yeah.
to real life. People are very
Oh, Susanna is making the same joke. Susanna, you weren't here. We were making the same joke.
Yeah,
You should go back and watch. We were making exactly the same point. I'm glad when
Yeah,
Susanna
yeah.
came back, she's making yeah.
very logical. But as soon as you bring God into the equation, people will find any excuse, no matter how illogical, just so they don't have to believe in a God. We might
my
be in a
gosh.
simulation. I might not exist.
That's so
Maybe there's billions and an infinite amount of universes, mate.
Okay. So first
Really?
off, I just want to say I do like the little animations, like the little wings on his glasses and the little devil horn. Also, it kind of looks like there's a tail with a heart on it coming out of his neck. It's a little odd, but we'll just move. We'll just move past it. I mean, I like it. It makes me smile. I don't know what it means. I'm completely confused, but whatever.
I mean, it is about the Jannah.
Yeah, it's very weird, but I think this is really, really stupid. Okay, here's why this is stupid. Smile. The reason this is so stupid is because you're going out of your way to pretend that Jordan Peterson is freaking intelligent. You know what the most likely answer of the stupid things that Peterson says is? The most likely answer is he's not that well freaking versed in anything. He just doesn't understand. Go read any. Go read any freaking any of the things of his private communications with his own with his own patients. Okay, when he actually was a practicing psychologist, he was one of the stupidest, just absolute worst idiots in the field. Go listen to any of that. Every single one that you come across, you will be like, well, that sounds kind of unethical. That sounds really unintelligent. Gosh, why is he a registered psychologist? Did this guy actually go to school? No. But instead of just trying to point out the fact that, hey, man, look, Jordan Peterson talks about a lot of stuff, and he's actually not that smart on most of the things that people want him to talk about. I don't know why he keeps responding to things, but he does. But instead of just doing that, Smile to Jannah has to take, a freaking minute to just attack everybody out there that's a non-believer and just say, oh yeah, look, see, every non-believer is an idiot like Jordan Peterson is, because they'll have to twist themselves into all these super weird stances to just not believe in the obvious God. And it's like, no, I don't have to twist myself at all, dude. Like, there are logical inconsistencies when it comes to the description of Allah in the Quran. On top of that, it's just gross and disgusting. And then somehow on top of that, any other evidence that could actually demonstrate the existence of this thing is completely non-existent. Those are my reasons. I don't have to go through some stupid contrivance like Peterson does to pretend like I don't understand what the word God means. Okay? I have a pretty good understanding, just like you do. And the difference between me and Peterson is he's an idiot. And he doesn't seem to recognize that. Whereas, like, I know I'm kind of an idiot. And I try to let you guys know that up front. I try to be like, hey, look, I'm not an expert on this. Here's my thoughts. Go check me. Peterson's like, nah, I know this. I got this stuff. It's all me, man. So, yeah.
You're not an idiot, though.
Well, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But I don't have a PhD in anything. Like, I'm not a physicist or anything. But again, it's just like, it's just this. It's ridiculous that he is constantly asked for his opinion on things and then somehow used as the signpost for everybody else that happens to fall into this camp. Again, Jordan Peterson is probably a theist just based on everything he said. But
yeah. All right, let's see if he has a justification for God.
Behave yourself, yeah? There's design, there's a designer. Let's move on from this, yeah?
But if I
Oh, okay. We got. That was convincing. Hold on. Was that all of
I
it?
have to
Hold on.
believe in a God. We might be in a simulation. I might not exist. Maybe there's billions and an infinite amount of universes, mate. Behave yourself, yeah? There's design, there's a designer. Let's move on from this, yeah?
Oh, okay. Now I got it. Okay. So just behave yourself. Apparently, that's the justification.
just accept that
behave
God's
yourself.
real. Duh. That's all the evidence you need. Just accept it.
Just submit. Yeah.
But if I draw a mean
Okay. Wait. Okay.
Yeah, we pull
cartoon of AI.
Oh, never mind. We pull. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let me do this just because I think this is a good point and I want to talk about it. So Susanna says, I disagree. Some of his clinical psych stuff is very spot on. I don't know. It's not necessarily a credit to him, but he's articulating field knowledge. And what I would say is I agree with that, Susanna. My point was more in regards to the way he behaved and the information that he gave to clients of his. When it comes to some of the conclusions that he has made and has published on, yes, he's spot on. But I would kind of agree with you that I don't know that that's necessarily credit to him because it really is just kind of basic knowledge in the field. So, but yeah, I agree. He does have some good stuff when it comes to his understandings of psychology. What I was really criticizing was his behavior with his patients and clients more so. But yeah, I just think that's a good point. Yeah.
Okay.
As a designer, let's move on from this, yeah?
But if I draw a mean cartoon of AOC, I'm not going to get killed.
Yeah.
But if I draw the wrong cartoon in the other religion, I will.
Yes,
So,
that's not a good thing.
So I'm
generally
going to
speaking.
like,
I mean, it's bad and all, but let's not exaggerate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
here,
that's
like
not
you're not gonna get killed. You're in the U.S. You're gonna be fine. Like that's an exaggeration. I will just draw Muhammad right now, just to show you. Like, I mean, I'm not good at drawing. I'm just gonna draw a stick figure and with a turban or something, and then I call Mo. This is Prophet Muhammad here. I don't know.
Look,
I
got a little stick figure too. Look,
Yeah,
Muhammad.
yeah.
Wait, hang on. He probably needs a beard.
Oh yeah, you're right. God damn.
Muhammad.
You're right.
Well, there we go, Armin. Now we can't travel to like 14 countries in the world.
But like, I don't like this as an exaggeration. Like we
Yeah,
are
I
here nonstop talking crap about Islam, but we don't exaggerate. We don't fearmonger. You're not gonna die because of drawing Muhammad. Like,
And
oh,
that's
if I
Bill-
draw Muhammad,
that's
somebody's
Bill
gonna kill
Maher.
me.
Like that's Bill Maher. Honestly, like let's
Yeah.
just call it what it is. That's what he likes to do, especially with Islam. Like I get it. He's, 15, 20 years ago, he was one of the first people that was really coming out there in the more, westernized, focused and stuff, right? Like, so yeah, I get that. He's been on this. He's been on this for a while now, but like, yeah, that's what he does. Honestly, he does. He just makes it. He just wants to make it sound like it's worse than what it is. But again, like, you don't need to do this, okay? We don't have to exaggerate the garbage. It is obvious. So don't lie. Just look, it's Muhammad in emoji form. Can we get a little like Muhammad emoji or something? We'll talk about it later. Anyway, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. But
yeah. I mean, Susanna is right. To be fair, when he started, it was a way bigger deal. Yeah.
Totally agree.
But that's
totally agree. Totally agree. But I think that's I think that's the responsible thing from there is we update our information and we change our stances when we get, and that's one of my big criticisms with Bill Maher is that it's like, 20 years ago, man, you were a lot more progressive on things, but unfortunately you haven't updated your opinion on some stuff.
Yeah, and 20 years ago, it was much harder to draw Muhammad and get away with it. But that's why we drew Muhammad, because it's now easier to do that,
That's right.
Yeah. That's why it works, guys. It works. Yeah.
We're proof.
And it wasn't because of the Abrahamic Accords that we can draw Muhammad.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah,
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Make that important to me, like which one could really kill me.
Really? Because if you're an innocent child living in an oil-rich country, rest assured, you'll be killed by someone from the Western nations.
Rest assured, you're done.
Wow.
How do they still have children there then?
We were criticizing Bill Maher for exaggerating a bit, okay? Like, come on, Smile. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that is again, you don't have to lie about this, dude. The United States government has documents that went to federal court where the executive branch advocated in open court that the death of a man delivering free water in Afghanistan. Do you remember that? The bombing of a man's car who was an aid worker, him and his children died. Our federal government said that's okay. They fought for that in court. So you don't have to lie about the atrocities that the United States has done, but yeah, like both of those. Yeah. 100% kill rate.
Yeah. Like, how do they live? Like, like he says, rest assured, you would be killed. Like, we have 100% kill rate according to Susanna.
That's incredible.
Like,
that's incredible. You just
all oil-rich countries. Like, I'm glad I was a child in an oil-rich country.
Norway has a lot of oil too. Norway has a lot of oil. Like, it's weird.
Right.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
I made it, guys. I was a child in an oil-rich country, and I survived the United States. Apparently, I was not killed. I don't know how I was spared.
Pretty impressive. Pretty
You
impressive.
decide,
Armin.
rest assured, you'll be killed.
I love how confident he is, like, about how guaranteed this is.
Child.
Like which one could really kill me.
Really?
And I also like the whataboutism. It's like, so both of them are exaggerating, but if you like tone it down a little bit and like, okay, yes, some people get killed for drawing Muhammad, and that's horrible, right? And you're like, well, United States kills children from oil-rich countries. Or like, I didn't say they don't.
Well, remember,
that happened.
Remember
that's
earlier, if you recognize a human rights violation of any country, you can't support them. So if we're being consistent, then we have to disavow all countries in the world. Doesn't.
No,
never mind.
Oh wait. Okay. No.
That's important to me. Like which one could really kill me.
Really? Because if you're an innocent child living in an oil-rich country, rest assured, you'll be killed by someone from the Western nations. Then if you decide to stand up, they'll sanction your country. In other words, starve it until...
Wait, how do you stand up? You're
See, that's
you're
all
dead.
Iran did. Yeah, that's a really good point too. How do you stand up if they kill you? That's
You rest
surprising.
assured you kill you. They
Yeah,
kill you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then if you decide to stand
Yeah.
up, like you're
Yeah,
dead.
and again, Armin,
Rest-
that's all the Iranian government did. You know, they just stood up to the U.S. and said, "Hey, we don't
Right.
want you killing
Oh,
our
yeah.
babies 100% anymore." That's
No.
all Saudi
It's-
Arabia did.
It's enough is enough. You stop
They said-
killing our babies.
Don't kill our babies anymore. And then the U.S. just disgustingly starved them all with sanctions and stuff. Or even though the sanctions don't target like food and medicine, that's weird. No,
Right,
that would be
right.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the sanctions on Iraq did though, unfortunately. To be
Yeah,
fair.
that is
like
true.
guys,
Those are bad. Those are bad.
we are like so. Here's the thing: just because Smile to Jannah is exaggerating, that does not mean we endorse everything the United States does. United States has done some horrible crap, and you can point that out. But it would be better. You would be more effective at pointing it out if you weren't exaggerating. If you weren't,
assured you'll be killed by someone from the Western nations. Then if you decide to stand up, they'll sanction your country. In other words, starve it until even when that kid grows up and has kids of his own, even they're going to struggle. And if
which countries like okay, so yeah, some of the sanctions were horrible. Some of the sanctions by the United States were horrible, especially the one on Iraq, which killed like 500,000 children, right? However, the reason was not because they decided to stand up against United States and United States killing children. Saddam was a horrible person that was killing his own people.
I guess he was.
Yeah, and the Islamic Republic of Iran was, is meddling in all this country neighbors, is a state sponsor of terror, and they're like Russia, for example, is under sanction. They attacked Ukraine, right? So I don't think it's like just like, oh, we want to kill your babies and you're not letting us, so I guess we're gonna put sanctions on you. Like, if you want to make an evil character, that's not good writing. Even like if you're writing fiction, you try to make the evil characters more believable. I mean, even in fiction, that would be like, yeah, I don't buy your evil character. So if that doesn't sell in fiction, what makes you think that this will sell in the real world? You have to give some more proper motivation to the evil that you're, introducing to your audience.
I mean, I don't know. It kind of feels like just outright indiscriminate bombing and purposefully spending like a year and a half working with like 12 different countries or something to come up with agreements to restrict certain governments from committing human rights violations. I don't know, Armin. I think that and the indiscriminate bombing are on the same level. I'm not sure that there's a difference between those. They're about the same to me. About the same.
Well, yeah. That's how it works. Yeah. Okay.
if you're a fetus that was unwanted.
Oh, we're comparing this to abortion.
What?
I mean, how dare you talk about people killing other people for drawing Muhammad when you kill fetuses? I think we're going into abortion. We're comparing the murder of cartooners where abortion. Okay, yeah, let's look at it. Like, you guys are more evil. You kill fetuses. Let's look at that. Yeah.
Has kids of his own, even they're going to struggle. And if you're a fetus that was unwanted in the belly of a Western woman, you'll be killed, mate. And then that very...
Oh, you fetuses, you will be killed. I didn't know he has a fetus-based audience. I might the demographics of YouTube.
It's amazing. It's amazing to think, but it's true. They were talking about how Gen Z was really large, but actually Generation Fetus is way bigger, Armin. Massive. What connection? What an absolutely ridiculous turn he just did there. I mean, did that come out of nowhere for you too, or am I just like super shocked? Like, am I the one that's just out of the loop, or was that just like, holy crap,
to be fair, how when somebody is killed for drawing a cartoon of Muhammad, you get upset, but then there's thousands, millions of fetuses that are being killed as we speak that are killing fetuses, and you don't seem concerned, Elliot. So you're a hypocrite. You're just an anti-Muslim bigot.
Okay, so I hear where you're coming from, Armin. Okay.
Right.
And I've got a question here from Susanna. that I'm confused about. So non-Western women don't get
No.
abortions? Never?
No, of course
So
not.
there must be, okay, so hang on. So there must be something extremely explicit in the Quran.
How dare you even suggest that?
Right. No, hey,
Yeah.
I get it. It's my
That's
hey,
disgusting.
you
I
understand,
Western people.
understand,
You Western
my
people
bad.
think like, yeah,
My bad.
it's
But
disgusting.
so just to be clear then, to really drive this home, there would have to be something. They have honor. Oh my God, they got me. So like there would have to be something super clear in the Quran that is like
Right.
hardcore against abortion, right? That must exist.
It doesn't though.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's weird. Huh.
But it's obvious.
Huh. But
It's
not
obvious.
Yeah, but it's not clearly in the Quran, and the Quran is a clear, unambiguous book that was written for all time. So if it wasn't in the book,
You should stop thinking about this.
that's
okay?
right.
Let's
That's
just
right.
move on.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
You're thinking
all
too
the
hard
murdered
about this.
fetuses. That's what we care.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wait, we got another super chat from Gaging Americans. The Gaging Americans saying, yeah, Western nations will unalive you, but not over cartoons. It's over stuff like oil rights, nationalization, and independence from France. Yeah, and
Yeah,
and sometimes for weird reasons, like nobody understood, like in Cambodia. That doesn't make any sense.
yeah. Again,
Yeah.
U.S. has done some bad things. I don't think we're ever.
And some good things.
good
And some
things.
good. I mean, yeah. I mean, the internet is nice.
Yeah,
Vaccines are cool.
That's cool too.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Flat screen TVs, not bad. You know,
Yeah.
they're nice.
GPS seems to be helpful
Yeah.
globally.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, very important.
Okay.
very woman unwanted in the belly of a Western woman, you'll be killed, mate. And then that very woman will be hailed as a liberal hero. If you're a man in
Thank you for doing your service, getting rid of those
Honestly,
fetuses here.
Honestly, Armin, I spent the whole weekend at a handful of abortion clinics near me, just high-fiving the
Right.
crap out of everybody that walked out. I was like, hey, your uterus cleaned
Yeah.
out. Yeah, that's right. You got it. Get it. You're a hero.
Yeah. Do people call women who have abortions liberal heroes? Is that a thing? Yes.
I just want to make sure nobody's around because
Yeah.
I've never heard a single person.
I've
say
never
that.
heard of
I've
okay.
never heard a single person say
We
that
should
on
make
the
that a thing. We should make like we should be like you're a liberal hero.
just
Thank
a bunch of
thank you for doing
people
your
who have
part.
gotten abortions just like standing there like like Superwoman or something. Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
then that very woman will be hailed as a liberal hero. If you're a man in Palestine, you'll be killed just for
Wait, what?
liberal hero.
What?
If
Wait,
you're
what?
a man in Palestine, you'll be killed just for existing. And the kill
That's weird. Hang on a second. I just want to look something up here. This is weird. Just want to go double check on something,
Wait.
Armin. I hang on. This is strange.
Are you okay? Pakistani men are like, I have friends in Pakistan. I'm worried now.
This is
God,
weird.
Boy.
There's a few million
my
people.
God.
And generally speaking, you've got about a 50-50 ratio around the world, right? Not perfect, but like you're guessing that a couple of million people exist in the country, Armin. So like, are these numbers just
Palestine.
really inflated? Are these numbers?
Wait, Palestine. I said Palestine. He said
Yeah,
every
okay,
man
okay.
in Palestine. Oh, you're checking
Yes.
Palestine?
Yeah,
Okay,
we've got like
I have one friend in
5.3
Palestine.
million people that live in Palestine, according to
Okay.
data from like not very long ago.
Okay, I'm not that worried. I thought it said Pakistan. I only have one friend in Palestine, and
Okay.
it's not a man, so I'm
Okay.
good. I'm fine
You're good.
now.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I wonder if I
Yeah.
could find the breakdown like of men and women. Like that would be crazy. Because again, like generally speaking, across the world, you've got fairly close to a 50-50 ratio. But yeah, literally, we're looking at 5.3 million people in the country, Armin. Do you think
I
half of those?
I think you should keep refreshing your browser.
Just
it's
in
gonna
case?
be 2.5
All right, give me a second.
anytime now. It's gonna get halved.
All right, hang on. I'll refresh it again. Just hang. Okay, hang on. I'll keep. It might take a while. I'll just keep doing this
Maybe
in the
it was-
background for a minute.
Do we
Yeah,
know
yeah,
if
yeah.
this was not 10 million like yesterday? Like,
Let me check. Hang on. Let me check.
yeah.
Types.
What was the population of Palestine yesterday?
You know what?
Yeah.
No, it was about 5.3 million. Yeah. Huh.
Okay.
Huh. I'll keep checking, guys. I'm sure he couldn't be that wrong. That would be ridiculous.
No.
That would be stupid,
Okay.
right? That would just
No.
I'll keep checking. I'll update y'all by the end of the.
Okay, good. Okay, wow, look at this. Did
You
you
will be
okay, look at
It killed me. And then that very woman will be hailed as a
Listen to
liberal
this here.
hero. If you're a man in Palestine, you'll be killed just for existing. And the killers, they'll be celebrated by the likes of Mr. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, well, the Abraham.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, okay, so if you're suggesting that Israel, again, the evil character in your story has to be believable. Okay, so I do agree that Israel has had human rights violations and has killed Palestinians unjustifiably. Okay,
Totally.
that is on the record. That has happened. Okay, but even if it's unjustifiable, it wasn't be like Palestinian man. Just shoot it. Like, why, sir? Why did I do it? It's just standing. Like, he's Palestinian. Shoot it.
Yeah, he's
Existing.
alive.
It does not happen. Even this is not a defense. This is not a defense. It's possible that Israeli, like IDF in Israel or something, like intelligence officers or something, that have killed a Palestinian, and then when you look at the case, you're like, okay, this was an unjustified shot. This was not okay. But it was, even those situations was not like we're just doing it because he's Palestinian. Even the most evil cases, like even if I go find the most evil cases that I will accept as something evil, it was never like we just killed him because we realized that he's Palestinian.
Yeah,
There's
I
something
agree.
more to it. Something more, not justifiable, but something more. Like,
Right.
if you say, like, for example, like, let me just Thanos, okay? If I say Thanos had a reasoning for killing a whole bunch of people, that is not a justification of what he did, but there was a reason to it. He wasn't like,
Right.
I just
don't like you.
life.
Yeah.
It's just life. No, I'm just like doing it just because. It doesn't work like that. Even evil characters need to have a reason.
It's very
Abraham
dumb.
Accords were a big step forward.
Yes.
too.
If you're a kid in an American school, you'll probably be gunned down by a suppressed male individual. And
What?
Probably that's not how
What?
that works. It's not. I mean,
What?
it's higher. It's oh my god.
What?
It's
Such a
not.
weird-
That's not how numbers work.
And it's so weird how he does this, Armin. Like, but have you noticed that, like, every time Smile to Jannah wants to make a criticism, he always has to shoehorn in this other, like, culture war thing. Like, he just wanted to shoehorn in there, like, alpha male, like, red pill type stuff. And it's just like, it just sounds like, honestly, Smile, it just truly sounds like you don't have enough content to make your whole script and video. Okay? And it seems like
Right.
you're just randomly pulling any buzzwords you can think of. It would be, again, as if right now, in the middle of Armin and my criticism of your very, very unintelligent comments, Smile, it would be as if Armin and I just went, what about 9/11? Huh? What about Charlie Hebdo? Huh?
Right,
Like,
right,
it just literally has nothing to do with this situation. And you just want to shoehorn in
Right.
something so that you can continue to rile up your base. That is a dumb,
Right.
dumb thing that he just said. Like, it just is. Yes, statistically speaking, males are more likely in the United States to be the perpetrators of mass shootings, especially when it comes to schools. Nobody's questioning that. But why did you just have to bring it up like that? Why did you have to frame it like that? Like, do you think the rest of his point here is going to, like, come back to it
Well,
and give us no?
Okay, let's listen.
American school, you'd probably be gunned.
Well, the Abraham Accords were a big step forward.
Yes.
Too.
If you're a kid in an American school, you'd probably be gunned down by a suppressed male individual. And that guy will probably just be called mentally ill and will probably get a better life in prison than he did outside prison.
It's
I
like
don't know anything about
Okay.
the United States penal system. Like the United States prison system is bad across the board. Way worse for
Right.
people with mental illnesses. Just worth pointing out. But
Yeah,
anyway.
and the part that upsets me is the fact that he doesn't know what probably means.
Yeah,
It's true that the event that he's describing happens in the United States, both in total number wise and on a per capita basis, than any other country.
Mhm.
Okay, there's more school shootings in the United States. Okay, than anywhere else. There's no
there's no
country that has.
We're number
Yeah,
one.
there's no question.
We're number one. Yeah.
But it's not. That does not mean that it's probable like that. If you're a kid in school in the United States, that you're probably going to get killed. If probable was the accurate number to use, then half of U.S. children would have died by now.
I know. I was gonna go look up the amount of kids we have in public school, and then I was like, you know what? This is so dumb of a point that I don't even need to do. Yes, they're happening way too much in my country for some weird reason, and we're not doing anything about it. Totally weird. I agree. It is gross.
Right.
It is wrong. There's massive problems. But again, dude, like, come on. You're saying half of our schools are getting shot up? That's ridiculous.
More than
that's
half.
just absurd.
Yeah.
Right. That's just absurd.
I think he
man.
does it. Does he know probable means like at least like more than 51%? Like it has to
don't
be.
think he knows. I don't think
Probable
he
means
knows.
more likely than not. So every time what you're saying, Smile to Jannah, let me tell you, like you've been born in, like you have been raised in the UK. Like this is your one of your. Like he speaks English. Okay, so but let me tell you how probable means. If what you're saying is true, then every time in the United States a mother or a father sends their kids to school, they're like, yeah, there's 50-50 that my kid is going to come back. That's what you're saying. Like every time they say goodbye to the kid, like I don't know if ever I'm going to see him again. 50 is a 50-50. Why would parents even send their kids to school if it was probable that they're going to die in school shooting?
Believe me, y'all. I have a very depressed view on the gun violence in the United States. I get it. I am somebody who is not more on that optimistic side like I am with other things like, hey, it'll get better. Yeah, I don't know, because it doesn't really feel like we care. But again, I really do like to believe that if it was literally 50% of our school children, we would do something. Okay, like I really like to believe that if you literally flipped a coin every time your child got on the bus, like might see Johnny later, might not. Oh, it's tails. Dang it. Sorry, Johnny. Have a good one. I packed you something extra in the lunchbox. Yeah, an extra cupcake. Hopefully you get to lunch before you're murdered. Like,
yeah. I mean, the amount of firepower that would require that would mean that United States is like in active war situation right now. This would not be school shootings anymore. This would be like, this is a war zone now.
Hey, in fairness though, Armin, at least we're doing better in our public schools in the U.S. than Palestinian men are for just existing, because apparently 100% kill rate over there. We only got 50, so we're doing good.
You know what? I actually admire you Americans now, your dedication to education, that you're still sending your kids to school in the middle of an active war. That's pretty. That's a pretty.
Half of our kids may die at school, Armin, but the other half will slightly learn math.
You know what? I'm not gonna judge, Americans for not knowing anything about like geography or other
dodging
math
bullets.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pay attention in school when your friends are dying right in front of you
It's
every
very
day.
difficult.
So-
It's very
so-
difficult when half of your
yeah.
homeroom class gets slaughtered
Yeah.
at the beginning of the school year. Yeah, it is
So
very
yeah,
tough.
okay, I get it now. It makes a lot of sense now. This explains everything. Okay.
by a suppressed male individual. And that guy will probably just be called mentally ill and will probably get a better life in prison than he did outside prison.
You know, to be fair though, if he was Muslim and mentally ill, they would also not call that terrorism. Okay?
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
That
It
was
would,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they would not call that. Yeah, if he was actually mentally ill, it doesn't matter if he's Muslim or not.
It's like what they put on a prisoner. You know, when we're kidnapped.
Oh,
Man,
he's
he's
now
doing
talking
a
about
good job. Yeah.
to Burkas in Afghanistan. I think he's
I
talking
wish,
about
I
Burkas
wish,
in
I
Afghanistan.
wish Smile to Jannah would do a little bit better job of letting us know when he's finished one thought and he's moving on to the other, because it's just really awkward out of nowhere to just be like, so fetuses, you know? It's like,
yeah.
just a little more build up there would be nice. That's all.
yeah.
And than he did outside prison.
It's like what they put on a prisoner. You know, when we're kidnapping you. That's not job one, to get that off every woman's head in the world.
Well, that's a bit odd. Wouldn't this sick old man ask the women what they want? In effect, what he's saying is, once we've taken over, I would strip the women just so my people could
That's what he
ogle
said.
at them. And
That's what he said. There you go. That is the most charitable, you know,
Right.
well-informed view of what Bill Maher just said there. Like, good on you,
what is
Smile,
his
for
point?
getting it accurate.
Let me see what his point is.
I
Yeah.
would strip the women just so my people could ogle at them. And where would you
Oh.
stop me? The
Wait, ogle, like, is that what he said? Like, so Bill Maher is saying, like, I think like the burqa to be more oppressive, and I wanted, like, we need to get that off of people, so that he could look at women. Like, Bill Maher is like doesn't have enough access to pictures of women. He's like, we need to add
Well-
Afghan women to that list of women that we could ogle at. Like,
Well, of course, because
mean,
once you're a degenerate like you and I are, Armin, you just want to spread that around the world to everybody, you know, so that even all of the women that you'll literally never come in contact with physically or online, you can ogle them too, you know, like all those millions of people in other countries that I'll never meet. That's why I want to
Right,
spread my degeneracy of letting them choose what clothing they wear. You see?
do
It
they
makes sense.
believe their own nonsense? Like, do you think Smile to Jannah is like thinking that, you know what, I actually believe that Bill Maher
Uh-huh.
is this is a conspiracy, this is a plan to get the burqas off of Afghani women
Uh-huh.
so that he could go like look at, like, that's what does he genuinely believe that that's exactly what's going on through Bill Maher's mind? Like,
really
I
don't
need
know.
I need to seal these Afghan women, stop covering them so I could look at them. And does he think, like, if that happens, like, does he actually imagine that if Afghan women remove their burqas, Bill Maher like, yes, it's happening. I
He's just
get
gonna
to go
fly
look
over.
at these women.
That's right.
Right.
He's just gonna fly over to the UAE and just sit out on a street corner, just ogling women, just left and right. That's actually
Does
it's a-
he
it's a
genuinely
standard.
believe that?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know, because that is such a ridiculous, extreme understanding of what Bill Maher was saying right there. Again, the most charitable, easily got to conclusion for what Bill just said there was,
Right.
oh, Bill Maher doesn't like the burqa. He thinks it's a violation of human rights. You could
Yes,
then
that's a charitable.
you could then go back and make the comment, because
Right.
I think it's fair for Smile to Jannah to say, yeah, but I see where you're coming from and you disagree, but there are some individuals out there who choose this particular thing. And it would be wrong for us to tell them that they can't. Now, then I would just come back and say, well, they don't really have a choice because it's inherent in
Right.
Islam. But
They don't choose it.
at least
But that would be better.
that's a charitable interpretation. So
Right. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean that would be more fair. Like he was going that route, and if he just stayed on that, that would be like a more fair criticism. Like at least some people would be like, yeah,
Totally.
but no, he had to be like, yo, no, I think you guys just want to like look at our women. Okay,
I
sure.
think you just want to strip our women naked. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Naked. Yeah. Well, let's see where he takes this, because I think he has more to say.
The bra, the pant, my people could ogle at them. And where would you stop, mate? The bra, the panties, and after the stripping, do they get a complimentary OnlyFans account? And
Oh yeah, okay.
What? What the hell, dude? I'm just so confused. Like, does he think? Again, it's. There's no way, Armin. There's no way he thinks this, right? Like, there's no way that what he legitimately believes is the argument from like leftists, Westerners, the liberals, you know? There's no way he legitimately believes that the argument is, hey, women should not be forced to wear particular clothing.
Yeah.
So that we can just strip them naked in public for our own pleasure. I mean, there's no way that he thinks that connects.
I mean, it's fair. Once you take off the burqa, the panties are next. And
Why
once you
not?
take off the panties, like it's OnlyFans.
That seems right to me, honestly. I don't know.
There's no way you could take off a burqa and not lead to not get on OnlyFans. I mean, it's a natural thing to do right after you take off your burqa.
So here's a question then. I know this is going to sound weird, but does that mean that the women who wear burqas right now in Islamic countries, does that mean that they never take them off, like even around their husbands or their families? Because if they did take them off around their husbands or families, then they should get a complimentary OnlyFans account by Smile to Jannah's view, right? Or am I wrong on that?
No. Because he said, no, the argument is that if you take your burqa off for other people to see, now what else do you want to be okay for other people to see? Everything else. You know? Yeah.
It's the family thing. Yeah.
Which is an accurate statement, because we know in all the countries where women are not wearing the hijab, every single one of them has an OnlyFans account.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's
This
really
is why
ridiculous.
The number of women with OnlyFans accounts is close to the population of all women on the planet.
I know.
Just minus the ones that don't have, minus the Muslim ones.
Oh my gosh, Armin, I just figured it out. You remember earlier how he said if you're a Palestinian man, you're just going to be killed, right? Just for existing? See, that's what the leftists want, is they're going to kill off all the men so that they can strip the women naked and give them OnlyFans accounts.
It's coming together. This is
It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
You know, I know that's an evil plan, but it's worked so well that I respect it. No, I don't actually. No, wait, I don't.
Oh my god.
But okay, yeah, this is by the way, guys, this is called a slippery slope fallacy. You know, when you say like, oh, you take off the burqa, next thing you know, you got OnlyFans.
I just want to say though,
that's the slippery.
Since we're talking about this, one of our wonderful viewers, Shika, has confirmed Smile to Jannah's account here. Okay. As has our wonderful Susanna as well. So I just, right there, you guys, you saw it. Shika and Susanna, they got the OF, and he's right. He's right. Clearly, he is right because of this right here. These two instances.
But I don't know why I haven't been shown this OnlyFans account. I'm upset now, Susanna. Like, why is this secret?
That is a different. We talk about that after.
We need to finish this show very fast, because I need to go find Susanna's OnlyFans account.
I have some Googling.
But okay, wait. I should say, like, Shika's too. Okay, I'm not like Shika. I am also interested in Shika. If you okay. Wait, I can't endorse. We have to be careful with legalities here. Okay,
that's a good point.
I'm saying it. Yeah, I'm using it for my personal use. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
What if certain Muslims in retaliation say these entry OnlyFans account? And what if certain Muslims in retaliation say these poor white women, they don't even have enough clothes to cover themselves, mate? You know what we should do? Have a quick whip around and go around giving them some clothes, mate. They're clearly struggling. I think I've made my
This is a common joke Muslims make. They're like, oh, look at all these Western women. They're so poor. They don't have enough clothes to cover themselves up. It's just, I mean,
Is it
they
really?
keep
Is it common? Is that like
they keep reusing this joke? Is getting so old. I'm like,
I think
okay,
he's about to finish.
Get it out of your system. Get it
I
out
think
of
he's
your
about
system.
to finish by saying, "I just made my point there." He absolutely did not make his point. That was so
No.
stupid. I have never heard
That's
that before. That's insanely dumb. Like, oh my gosh. I think he feels proud about that though. I really do.
Right.
Like,
No,
that's
they laugh
crazy.
about it so much. They have like so many cartoons about it, like a hijabi woman walking past a woman with like shorts or ripped jeans, and like, oh, you poor thing, your clothes are ripped, let me buy you something. And people are like, ha, yeah, the Western women are so ridiculous. Look, the hijabi woman did not understand that this like is so ridiculous. She thought they're poor. That's why like she's trying to help them. Ha ha ha. Western women are weird. Like that's the joke.
Yeah, I think
okay.
yeah, I think Darko said it. Yeah, got him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so how will I ever recover?
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, that's
my
it.
point.
That's
Here are two old.
yeah, you're right. He I didn't notice that part. He was so proud of his
so
joke.
We should do have a quick.
Yeah, he was like, I made my point.
Even have enough clothes to cover themselves, mate. You know what we should do? Have a quick whip around and go around giving them some clothes, mate. They're clearly struggling. I think I've made my point. Here are two old has-beens that are trying to stay relevant by talking about the timeless religion of Islam that will never, I repeat, never go out of fashion. Why? Because it is the way that has been chosen and perfected by the creator of the worlds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isn't it time that we embraced it? And for those of us that have been...
You hear that, Armin?
Very strong
Slavery
speech,
will
yes.
never go out of fashion.
Right.
embraced it,
What?
to implement it so we can lead a good life in this world and in the hereafter. Let's leave it there, guys.
He's gonna do his cringe outro. The whole, yeah. Listen,
We did really good last time we did that.
yeah, we'll do it again.
Next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Oh my god, it's even worse this time. Oh my god, I want a hat now. I want a hat. Oh.
The hat stuff is new. That's like that's changed. Yeah, you did. It's like
Oh my god.
Assalamu alaikum.
So good.
okay.
Okay, I will say, just because I do think it again, it's worth it whenever he accidentally gets one or two things right. Like, look, yes, Bill Maher and Jordan Peterson are both actively attempting to be more important in the public sphere, like they were. The difference is Jordan Peterson's reign of being important in the public sphere is very recent and short, whereas Bill Maher has been a public figure for like 20 years, and he's now realizing as an older comedian that's just not what people want in comedy. Like, it just isn't. Okay, so I agree with Smile to Jannah on that, at least. Like, but in fairness, it's also worth noting that Jordan Peterson and Bill Maher talked for like a long time. And these were just a couple of little points that they made in a discussion about a lot of things. Like, they spent a lot of time talking about the queer community in this discussion, if I remember correctly. So it's like,
Oh, you're watching it.
I've seen some of it. I've seen some clips and stuff. Yeah. And so it's like, it's just silly, honestly. It's like, again, if you're criticizing them and you're critique ultimately comes down to the end of, well, these guys just aren't very relevant anymore. It's like, well, then why are you talking about them? Like, why are you reviewing them?
I mean, it's in your title. Like, yeah, you wouldn't use their names in your title if they weren't relevant. The reason why you're making a review video of them, is because they're relevant people and they show up on search results.
Right.
They're relevant enough for you to respond to.
Bill Maher has still had his freaking show on HBO. That has never changed. He has always still had his show. He has had that for years. He made that movie Irreligious 20 years ago. I mean, and yeah, that's a really great point. Susanna's right. She says, I don't think trying to remain relevant is inherently a bad thing. We live in an attention economy nowadays. Absolutely. And 15 years from now, Smile to Jannah is going to be doing the same thing. Like, there's no question.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's what Smile to Jannah is doing himself.
That's what he's doing now, right?
You're trying to stay relevant. I mean, you're a YouTuber. That's your job is to try to stay relevant. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Right, man. Like, so again, it's just silly that that's where he ended his criticism, I think, because I think if you really wanted to critique both of those individuals, you could do a better job. Like, for instance, you could argue, hey, Bill Maher is really just somebody who exaggerates a lot about Islam, and he's not really telling you the full story. That's true. I think that's a fair criticism. And then you could say, well, Jordan Peterson really doesn't actually have a lot of knowledge on Islam. Like, he doesn't, and it's obvious in the way that he talks about it. I think he very rarely makes any coherent references. Like, it's not like he ever pulls out a surah. It's not like he talks about the hadiths or anything. He's never talked about any of that, as far as I know. So, like, you could have ended this on a stronger criticism of them both and said, Bill Maher is just somebody that likes to exaggerate. He just likes to fan the flames. That's just what he does.
Right.
He's been moving further right, so it makes sense he'd do this. Yeah. Jordan Peterson just talks about stuff and doesn't know what he's saying.
Jordan Peterson is defending the Abrahamic Accords, and it's clearly that he doesn't even understand.
He has no idea what it is. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Much stronger criticisms would have landed a lot better. But yeah, I mean,
you know what, Smile to Jannah? You could come talk to us and criticize us, but you know why you wouldn't do that? Because we are not big names, and you're trying to stay relevant, so you're using bigger names, But if you're actually interested in having a more deeper discussion with people that know what they're talking about, unlike those two, right? You could come talk to us if you're interested. We'll keep it friendly. Yeah.
If only we were more relevant, Armin. If only.
If only we were more relevant. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that was great.
That was great. We kept it under 2 hours. Look at that.
We're doing good. We're doing better at that. We are. Not always, but we are. We're doing better at that. So.
Yes. Mind you, it was like a 5-minute video, and it took us 2 hours to review. But
you don't have to tell me. Just remind them to like the video in the news on Sunday.
Yes. Just like the video, guys. Like the video, please. Thank you very much. It helps us grow. It helps us become a little relevant, maybe one day. So,
see, isn't that sad? Like, we're not even in the boat of trying to stay relevant. We're in the boat of like, we just want to be relevant at all. It's just love for anybody to know who. Anybody could just point me out at a grocery store one day. That'd be great.
Oh, like Susanna. You know what? I am relevant to Susanna. Okay, that's very and you guys. Okay, you guys who are watching, we're relevant to you guys. So we're happy. We're proud of that. Yeah, we're proud of that. We should do it.
Just so much.
All right, and yes, and subscribe. Yeah, we're getting 40K soon. Yeah,
we're very close.
All right, guys. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification, because I schedule these live streams quite like last minute. So you wouldn't, if you're subscribed, you're not going to know when we're going to go live. So you have to hit the bell notification so you can tell them when we go live. And tell your friends, YouTube algorithm, we used a lot of naughty words today. Okay, so YouTube algorithm is not going to recommend us to a whole bunch of new people, all right? Because like these people, they're shady. You have to go tell other people to come subscribe to do that. Just go tell people like, yeah, these guys, they sometimes make some good points. So
They're
go
funny,
check out the channel.
you know.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Not relevant.
All right,
But...
guys. Not relevant, but sometimes funny, you know. All right. All right, guys. Till next week. See you.
Are we
guys.
gonna?
Bye.
Are we gonna?
Oh yeah, forgot. Guys, until next week. Assalamu alaikum.
We need hats now.